The way our parents handled money has a huge impact on how we handle money as adults. Some of us learned that savings is all we have to do and that spending is bad. And some people just didn't have any sort of money conversations with their parents. Anyways, I asked 7 of my friends to share the money lessons they've learned from their parents and how it's shaped their personal finance journey. And I'm going to be sharing the lessons with us today. Before we start, I'd like to know, what are the money lessons that you learned from your parents? Please put it in the comment section. So I'll be starting with my friend that I'm going to be calling Frugal Molly. So Molly grew up in a single parent household, but her mom taught her the value of earning money. So as early as she could remember, she started to earn money from doing household chores. And by age 11, she also started to, do some work like distributing newspapers around her neighborhood. As she started to earn money, she was taught to save, but she was also taught not to spend too much. So while she has learned all these savings habits from a really young age and learning to live within her means, she's also grown up with a frugal mentality where she's afraid to spend money on like a personal interest or maybe to relax or take a vacation, and even to take risks with her money in terms of like investments. And it's only in the last couple of years that she's realized this, and she's also trying to unlearn these habits where she's now more comfortable spending money on herself. And a lot of us are actually sitting on this table where, we were also given the same message: save, 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 and don't spend a lot of money. And some of us till today, we're not able to spend money on certain things that we just feel are maybe not important. So now on to Learned Annie. So Annie was also given the savings message, save your money, spend sensibly. But her parents also taught her how to prioritize her needs over her wants, and that if she wanted any luxury item, for example, she would have to save money towards that instead of pulling out money from what she's already saved to buy a luxury item. So she needs to save towards that. So another lesson that she said her parents taught her is to avoid borrowing where she can, and she should only borrow for assets that would appreciate, so like landed properties or even buying a house. But one interesting lesson that she shared with me, especially from her dad, is how her dad encouraged her to prioritize financial literacy, especially in areas where she lacked knowledge. And I thought that this was quite interesting. She also said that her dad taught her to save to treat herself and also see investments in her education as something that is really worth it. And I'm looking at Learned Annie today. I think she's really put all these lessons to good use. She has a house now, she's still very young, and she has a fantastic career. And I think that she's taking a lot more risk with her money now. So now on to Invest It All Kate. So just like my 2 friends that I've been talking about, savings was the message in her family, and savings was really prominent. But today she's more of an investment person. And when I asked her why she thinks she's more of an investment person today, she attributed it to her early career in finance, where she learned that savings isn't going to protect you against inflation and that it's more useful for liquidity. So right now she's like really doubling down on investments, and she invests in a lot of like stocks. She even invests in startups. She invests in her education and even like network. Like, she's really big on investments. So it's interesting to see that despite the fact that savings was the most prominent message that she received while growing up, she's channeled her own path to investing and taking the risks in areas that she understands. So let's talk about No Poverty Kiki. So my friend Kiki said she vaguely remembered, talking about money with her dad. She was taught to save like every other person, but she was also taught a little bit about investments. And one of the things that her dad did was to buy some shares in her name, although she doesn't know where the shares are today. But what she told me was that the way she invests today and what motivates her to invest today is the fear of poverty. Like, Kiki is afraid not to have enough money to take care of herself, whether it's today, whether it's in the future, whether it's for retirement. So that fear has propelled her to like go and learn about personal finance, about investing, about money habits of the wealthy. And she's also started to see like reward of, making her money work for her. She's also doubled down on some of those investment options that have paid off for her. So investing in stocks and also putting money in her 401k, which is like the pensions plan, I guess, for the people in the US. So now on to play safe Greg. So like so many people, Greg didn't really have so many money conversations with his parents. His parents were career people, so they valued hard work and savings a lot, and they played it safe for the most part. So they never did anything risky. They never had like side hustles. It was more of the income from their 9 to 5 that they used to basically, train them in school. But one thing that stuck out to me when I was talking to Greg is that he sort of like adopted that play it safe mentality as well. And another thing is that because his parents spent a lot more on them, that's himself and his siblings, he's doing the same with his family. He struggles to spend on himself today. He would rather spend on his family and his kids. So he said he recognized this pattern when, he would spend a lot of money on like anything that has to do with his family. And then when he would go out to shop and then he would see the price tag on certain items, he would go like, no, this purchase is too big for me, and this is the person that is earning the money. I thought that was really interesting. So this is my next friend. I'm calling him Desmond the Baller. So Desmond, even though he didn't really have any sort of like financial lessons from his parents, he observed his dad a lot. So he observed that his dad would always pay for their annual holidays. His dad would talk about multiple businesses that he was doing, despite the fact that he had a 9 to 5. He would see his dad, buy real estate and would take them around some of these properties. He also saw his dad take care of like extended family members financially, paying for their school fees and different things that they needed. So fast forward to today, I think just observing Desmond, I think he's following in his father's footsteps. He has multiple businesses that he's doing. He's big on real estate. And he's also big on supporting family members as well. So another thing that I noticed about Desmond was the fact that he invests in a lot of assets that a lot of people would deem to be very risky. So things like crypto, NFT. And when I asked him why he's able to, take on some of these riskier investment options, and he told me 3 things. He said, one of the things that he learned is that you need to take risks to make money. And secondly is because that he's confident that even if he loses all his money in these investments, he can always make it back. In worst case scenario, he will get his inheritance off of his father. And I felt that this was quite instructive for me, because a lot of us, we have that fear of losing money because maybe we feel like if we lose it, the chances of us making it back is very slim. And that sort of like holds us back to taking certain kind of risks. But I think with everyone, obviously, you need to understand your risk appetite in the choices of investments that you eventually make. Lastly, I'm going to be talking about Terry the Hustler. So Terry grew up in a household where they didn't have much, and like every other person that I've been talking about, savings was also like a big message that was passed down. She talked about how they made it fun for them to save in like piggy banks where they would save towards Christmas, and they would only break their piggy bank during Christmas. She remembered that used to be very fun and exciting. But she also cited the fact that when they break the piggy bank, their parents would take out of the money as well and still give them some. But that also imbibed the culture of savings in her. But I think that one of the things that stood out for me in Terry's story was observing her mom put all her annual salary in a high yield investment account because she was interested in sending her and her siblings to a private university, and she knew that the only way to get more money was to invest the money in that high interest yielding account, which for me, it's safe and it also gives her, a bit of returns. So because she had invested all her annual salary in this high interest yielding accounts to pay for their education, so she had to come up with other ways of making money to make ends meet. So she took on extra jobs, extra side hustles. She even started like a mini mart, and my friend saw this in her mom growing up. So from her mom, she saw the importance of having extra streams of income, that even when we were in school, I remember her making hair, selling attachments to also earn some more money for her upkeep in school. Another thing that she said she learned from her parents, because they were people of faith, they believed in the abundance mentality, where they believed that givers would never lack. So even though they didn't have a lot of money, they also were very charitable. They gave out a lot. And I see that a lot in my friend today. Like, she gives a lot. There is no time that she's not giving her time, her money, her energy to people around her. And it's just interesting to see that, she's really taking on a lot of the lessons that she's learned from her parents. She has a fantastic career today. She's still hustling, by the way, always thinking about, extra stream of income and how to better invest her money for today and also for her future. So from all these stories, it's clear that in some shape or form, we sort of like mimic the investment strategies of our parents. But the important thing is for us to reflect on how our parents handled money and focus on the positive attitudes that encourage responsible spending and also savings, and also work on habits that might hold us back, like being too afraid to invest our money. So it's basically up to us to pursue a growth mindset towards our finances. Anyways, I've come to the end of this video. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you next time. Bye.